Okay, guys, I got the pizza in the oven now. What are we going to be rating today?
Donald said he wanted to rate a Valve game, so we were thinking either Counter-Strike or Half-Life and maybe Portal.
Hold on, Jack. You telling me you forgot about the goated Valve game, Team Fortress 2?
Why didn't I think of that before? Good job, Sleepy Joe. Let's do a Team Fortress 2 character tier list.
All right, let's start our tier list for the TF2 classes. I gotta say, I don't fuck with Pyros. I mean, yeah, Pyros can be effective in certain situations, but overall, they're just kind of meh.
Are you kidding me? The Pyro is one of the most versatile classes in the game. They can deal out massive damage with the flamethrower, they can reflect projectiles, and they're great for clearing out tight spaces.
I'm with Don on this one. The Pyro is a force to be reckoned with. Sure, they might not have the range of some of the other classes, but they more than make up for it with their close quarters combat abilities. If you have a player that knows how to play Pyro effectively, he can stall an enemy team at a choke point and bring a game to a standstill.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm leaning more towards Don and Barry on this one. The Pyro can be a real pain in the ass to deal with, especially if they're played by someone who knows what they're doing.
All right, I hear you guys. But your argument can be used for just about any class in the game. An effective player will always have a chance to shine out and change the fortunes of battle. As I start, I'm putting Pyro into decent tier. He's not bad, but W plus left mouse button players are rampant through the Pyro community.
Fine, what about Scout? Personally, I think that anyone who plays Scout either is a free-to-play that just installed or a man vs machine player who misclicked on casual matchmaking. There is no way you can convince me anyone likes playing Scout.
I agree, Trump. Scout mains are a rare breed of autism. Plus, that little bastard can move so fast, it's a pain to try and kill him.
But if you can catch him, he's pretty easy to take down. Obviously, the Scout is a mediocre class.
I don't know, guys. I've seen some really skilled scouts take out entire teams on their own. I'd say the Scout is at least decent tier.
No way in hell, George. Skilled Scout players are so rare, I can count on one hand the times in matchmaking I had to deal with a nightmare Scout, which just ruined the game, honestly. It's a whole other type of hell when you're being killed by a flying retard with a scattergun as a heavy, and he keeps coming back and doing it. Not even sniper spawn camping is that bad.
All right, fine. He's going in mediocre. That only leaves Soldier for the offensive classes. I think we can all agree he's a top-tier class.
Definitely, he's got a ton of health, good mobility, and a versatile arsenal. I'd put him at overpowered tier.
Yeah, but he's slow compared to basically every other class. If you're not careful, you can get caught out in the open and taken down easily by snipers and spies.
That's true, but he makes up for it with his rocket launcher. Like Obama said, it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game and can deal a large pool of splash damage to a group of enemies. And if you get a fair and balanced random crit, you can kill an entire push.
Yeah, plus rocket jumping is so key to being a good soldier. It allows the soldier to have so many subclasses focused on different parts of the game, like Market Gardener, Black Box, and Buff Banner, to name a few.
You're forgetting that rocket jumping is one of the hardest parts of becoming a good soldier. If you don't time it right, you can wind up looking like a live leaked video of a Chinese industrial accident.
Overall, I'd say the soldier is a top class in the game. He's got a lot of firepower and can be a real asset to any team, even being played by a mediocre player. I would put him in good tier.
I agree, plus he's just fun to play. There's nothing quite like raining down rockets on your enemies from above.
Well, I can see why the Soldier is a popular choice. Why don't we talk about my favorite class in the game, the Engineer? Now, the Engineer, that's a class I can really get behind. He's got the smarts to build his own structures, has a large, versatile play style for players who know how to play him, and he's even from Texas, the greatest state in the Union.
I don't know, guys. I feel like the Engineer can be a bit too stationary. I like to be on the move, you know? But I do appreciate the value of a well-placed sentry gun.
That's a laugh coming from you, Donald. I thought sitting on your ass would come naturally to you. Besides, haven't you ever heard of a battle engineer? With a frontier justice and a mini turret, he gets enough frags he can be more effective than a heavy if he uses his crits right.
Obama has a point. The Engineer is a team-based class. If you've got a good engineer on your team, they can cover your flank and keep the enemy at bay while you push forward. Smart engineers will place their dispenser in a place convenient for their team so that they can keep the pressure up on the front lines.
And let's not forget about his ability to build teleporters. A skilled ninjaneer can sneak back behind the lines and radically change the game. They can really come in handy, especially on bigger maps where it can be a long walk back to the front lines.
Yeah, the Engineer is definitely a class that rewards good strategy and planning. Plus, he's just plain fun to play. I mean, who doesn't love building stuff? Just ask Donald.
Damn right, Barry. Okay, you guys got good points. Let's put him into overpowered tier. There are so many play styles to him, and a good engineer can ruin your day. All right, let's move on to the Demoman. I think he's a solid class, but not as strong as the Heavy.
I agree. I think the Demoman the equal of the soldier on defense. His large drawback is with his sticky bombs, which require planning similar to the engineer. But his grenade launcher and sword can transform him into a powerful offensive class.
I have to agree with Biden on this one. The Demoman is great at area denial and taking out groups of enemies, but weak on the offensive, unless you are playing as Demote Knight and with a half Zatoichi. Soldier would be better in most situations.
Well, I think it depends on the map and game mode. In some situations, the Demoman is definitely the better choice.
All right, I see your point. The Demoman has his strengths. But what about his weaknesses? Much like the soldier, he's not exactly the most mobile class.
That's true, but like the soldier, he can use his sticky bombs to launch himself across the map. And his grenade launcher can take out enemies at long range around obstacles like a sentry nest that is hidden behind a wall.
And don't forget about his melee weapons. He's got a lot of variety there, from the standard bottle to the Scottish handshake. Ain't nothing scarier than drunk Scotsman charging at you with a grenade in his hand.
Okay, you guys have convinced me. The Demoman is definitely a solid class. Let's put him in good tier with soldier. But I still think the Heavy is the best. All right, we've talked about the Demoman and the engineer. Now let's move on to the big man himself, the Heavy.
The Heavy, my personal favorite. He's a real proletarian powerhouse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got the most health out of all the classes, but he's also the slowest. I can see why you enjoy him so much, Joe.
That's why he needs a good medic to keep him going.
That's true. A Heavy medic combo is one of the most iconic pairings in the Team Fortress franchise.
I personally feel that Heavies might be too dependent on medics, especially on capture the flag or control point maps. On those maps in particular, you need to pace yourself and know when to shoot because of the slow spin-up speed of the minigun and the slowness of the Heavy.
Of course, Joe, you need to be strategic with your positioning. You can't just run out in the open and expect to survive.
Exactly. You need to find a good spot to set up and defend, like near a dispenser.
And if you've got a good engineer on your team, it allows the Heavy to be a usable defense or offense class on capture the flag or control points. Really sitting here and talking it out makes me think how well Value balanced the game to make sure that no class is too overpowered to really function properly on their own.
Yeah, and don't forget the secondary weapons too, like the shotgun or the sandwich. If we ever got the Heavy update, then I would love to see him fleshed out to have more subclasses like the engineer.
The sandwich is a great offensive weapon to have. You can quickly gain back health in seconds to allow you to keep pushing the enemy team back without needing to look for a health pack. Allows the Heavy to stay in the game for longer.
Bottom line, the Heavy is a force to be reckoned with, but he's not invincible. You've got to be smart and work as a team to make the most of his strengths.
And if you're playing against a good Heavy or even a decent Heavy, you better watch out because he'll take you down with ease.
Yeah, the Heavy may be slow, but he's not to be underestimated, very overpowered.
All right, we've talked about the offensive and defensive classes. What about the support classes?
The medic is one of the most important classes in the game. Without a good medic, your team is going to have a tough time.
Of course, and no one is denying that, Barry, but if we are ranking the classes based on usability by all skill levels, the medic would be in the same tier as the Pyro. Seems easy on the surface, but a whole team depends on a good medic, and good medics are hard to come by.
You know, I always thought the medic was a bit of a wimp. I mean, he doesn't have any weapons that make him an actual threat, right?
That's true. But the healing and, more importantly, the Uber charge are his main capabilities, which can quickly change the battlefield, allowing for strong pushes that break up stalemates.
Yeah, but you need to be careful with your Uber charge. Like Joe said, if you pop it at the wrong time, you can waste it.
That's why you need to communicate with your team. If you let them know when you're about to pop, they can prepare for it and use it to their advantage.
Okay, but what about defending yourself like I asked before? It doesn't matter how much you healed your team if you're dead.
The medic has a few weapons, syringe gun, Crusader's crossbow, and the Uber saw that he can use in self-defense. The last two can be really powerful if used properly, allowing a medic to get Uber by hitting an enemy only 4 times.
Plus, if you're playing with a good team, they should be able to protect you. The medic is one of the most targeted classes with good reason, so you need to rely on your teammates to watch your back. So where would you guys rank the medic on the tier list? Like Joe said, he would put him in decent tier, which seems like an accurate designation for him. All right, let's move on to the sniper. What do you guys think about the sniper?
Well, I think the sniper is a crucial part of any team. A good sniper can take out key targets from a distance and give your team a major advantage.
Yeah, but a bad sniper can be a real liability. I've seen too many free-to-play snipers who just sit back and wait for someone to walk into their crosshairs instead of actively helping the team.
I agree with George. A sniper who isn't actively engaging in the fight is basically useless, but a good sniper who can also move around the map and provide support can be a game changer.
I think the sniper is overrated. Sure, they can take out key targets, but they're also vulnerable to spies and other fast-moving classes. I'd rather have a soldier or heavy on my team.
That's true, but a good sniper can also force the enemy team to play more defensively, which can open up opportunities for your own team.
I think we can all agree that a good sniper is an important asset to any team. But like with all classes, it's all about playing to your strengths and working with your team.
That's right, a good sniper knows how to use cover and positioning to their advantage and can take out key targets to give their team an edge.
I still think the sniper is overrated.
Come on, Don, give the sniper some credit. A well-played sniper can be the difference between victory and defeat.
Let's just agree to disagree. The sniper is an important class, but whether or not it's right for your team depends on your own play style and the situation on the battlefield.
Okay, then let's put him in good in the right hands. That seems fair to me.
I gotta say, the spy is one sneaky son of a gun. I always get caught off guard by that backstabbing Frenchman.
Come on, Don. Don't be so hard on the spy. It takes some serious skill to pull off those trick stabs. Haven't you seen my latest trick stab compilation on YouTube?
I agree with Joe on this one. The spy is all about deception and trickery, and it's a legitimate strategy in the game. And if there is a good spy on your team, it can really make it hell in the rear echelon of the enemy team, which could be a real headache for slower classes, engineers, and snipers.
I gotta admit, I never really got the hang of playing spy. I was always more of a straightforward player, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's why you were always getting killed, W. You gotta be willing to get a little sneaky sometimes. If you need help with that, just call up Dick Cheney. It's no wonder that slimy motherfucker has spy as his most played class.
But you also got to be careful not to overdo it. The spy is a low health class and is vulnerable if you get too cocky.
That's true, Joe. You got to know when to strike and when to lay low. It's all about timing and patience. Obviously, same tier as sniper.
I remember one time I was playing spy and I thought I had the perfect opening for a chain stab, but then a stupid fucking scout milked me. I felt like a real idiot.
Hey, Bush, just because you're a real idiot doesn't mean you have to feel like one. We've all been there, W. TF2 can be a tough game, even for presidents.
But that's why we keep playing, right? It's all about the challenge and the thrill of victory.
And the camaraderie of playing with friends. That's what makes TF2 so special.
Amen to that, Barack. Now, who's up to play a round of Upward?
Upward? That map fucking sucks. Anyway, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.